Perhaps I'll break with protocol and start by acknowledging the presence of every woman in this room and wishing all of you a happy International Women's Day, and to all women everywhere in the world. I want to commend the leadership of Mabel of CCG and Smriti of UN Women, who've really been at the front end of leading efforts towards making sure that the issue of gender does not just remain a subliminal text in the periphery of our conscience, but more about what we can actually do to make things happen. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. There was a Forbes report of billionaires in 2020. So there are about 2,100 billionaires in the world, of which about 240 are women. Of that, half of the women are Chinese. And what is important is that most of these women are actually in the tech sector. Back in 1940, there was a Chinese scientist that went from mainland China to the United States and taught at my alma mater, Princeton University. She subsequently went on to help the US develop what is known as the Manhattan Project. And then later on, in physics, she was known as the first lady of physics, came across with the conservation of parity law, which is in physics, and in 1957, all the people that worked with her, the male colleagues, got the Nobel Prize, she didn't. So which goes to show that the biases on gender have existed forever, and as a matter of fact, still do. So perhaps the moment of the convening of this particular meeting around the digital landscape and on digital for all for innovation and technology and gender equality is absolutely prudent and timely. Under this banner, we come together to recognize that and celebrate women and girls who are championing the advancement of transformative technology and digital education. We join to celebrate the myriad contributions women have made to the digital world, even despite the historical disadvantages they have faced in this field. We also celebrate and seek to harness the opportunities created by digital technology for empowering women and girls and marginalized groups. We applaud achievements of gender-responsive digital learning and in tech-facilitated sexual and reproductive health care, among other examples. And we look for new and innovative opportunities to leverage digital innovation to eliminate all forms of disparity and inequality. Just as important, we come together to do the difficult and urgent task of better understanding the gendered impact of the digital revolution. We know that the same technologies that are transforming societies and allowing unprecedented advances in social, economic, and political outcomes for women and girls also threaten to exacerbate existing gender inequality. A persistent gender gap in digital access prevents women from realizing many of the benefits that come with technological advancements. Women remain underrepresented in STEM fields across every region of the world, representing only slightly more than 35% in the world's STEM graduates and less than a third of the world's researchers, undermining their participation in tech design and governance and putting them at the risk of being excluded from the economy of the future. Moreover, growing threats of online gender-based violence and the lack of regulations to prevent and provide recourse for such violence often forces women out of the digital space in which they would otherwise choose to engage. As the Executive Director of UN Women said at the UNGA General Assembly 77, and I quote, "The digital divide has become the new face of gender inequality," end of quote. And like other forms of gender inequality, we know that exclusion of women from the digital space comes with massive economic and societal costs. According to research from UN Women's Gender Snapshot 2022 report, women's exclusion from the digital world has shaved off about $1 trillion from the gross domestic product of low and middle income countries in the last decade. This loss is likely to grow to about $1.5 trillion by 2025 if we do not take action now. Conversely, when we succeed in recognizing that women's equal rights and inclusion in the digital space, we are not only bringing opportunities to women, but we dramatically expand economic and social opportunities for communities, for nations, and the entire world. When women have access to digital banking, they start businesses that benefit their families and communities. When women receive telemedicine services, their families, communities are healthier. When women scientists tackle problems like climate change, public health crisis, food and water safety, and other global challenges, they develop, innovate, and often offer life-saving solutions. As the United Nations Secretary General noted in his recent remarks at the Commission on the Status of Women, and I quote, "Promoting women's full contributions to science, technology, and innovation is not an act of charity or a favor to women. It is a must and it benefits everyone." End quote. Our urgent task today and every day is to work together to identify solutions that distribute the benefits of digitalization equally to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. To do this, we must support enhanced connectivity to narrow the gender-digital divide, spur the development of gender-transformative technologies, design, foster gender-inclusive environments for STEM education and careers, and combat online ICT-facilitated gender-based violence. No one nation or sector can meaningfully progress towards these objectives alone. Governments, businesses, civil society, women's organizations, academic institutions must come together to integrate gender perspectives into digital plans and policies. To do this effectively, we must invest in robust research on the barriers women face and the efficacy of efforts that have attempted to overcome these barriers. Finally, governments, private sector, and others must invest in evidence-based programs that effectively give women and girls the access and skills that need to engage and lead and shape the digital landscape. Once again, I thank UN Women and CCG for hosting this important event of bringing together experts and practitioners as well as ambassadors from a wide range of countries. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to collectively come across some things that we could do in order to reshape this kaleidoscope, which often regresses year on year, and what the last 3 years of COVID-19 has done was reminded us of the fragility of not just of human health, but the malevolence of gender-based violence which has entered